walk off, or do you want her to stay on with him?
I want her to walk off.
Okay. Yes. She only comes back for 30 seconds. Right?
Yes. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our cooking demo with celebrity chef David SooHoo. Let's give him a hand. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today. You are here because we are experimenting with inviting people to our live stream program. We've been doing this since October of last year, and we have live streamed or put on YouTube and Facebook a live broadcasting with more than 450 workshops, classes, and concerts. 99% of them have been without people in the room. So you are among the first who is here to watch our program take place. So you're like the studio audience. So thank you very much. Please at all times keep your mask on because you might be shot at the camera. So it's always good to see audience members with the mask on. The chef will be allowed to take his mask off. So you are in for a real treat today. If you want to applause at any point, clap your hands, whatever. But we hope you have a good time. You're going to see a lot of what happens behind the scenes. We'll be running around. And right now we have about 20 people on YouTube and Facebook watching this live, like a live broadcast, as well as you. And we expect more people to show up. After this is done, this video is all on the internet, and anybody could watch it from wherever they are around the world to see Chef David SooHoo. David, do you want to say anything to the audience before we get started? Okay, ready? I'll give you the go. Look in the camera, Jerry. Ready? And go.
Hello everyone, I'm Jerry Shikuma, the Home Community-Based Programs Administrator here at ACC. Today I'm so excited we have David SooHoo returning to teach us how to debone chicken in 20 seconds. Before I bring David on, I wanted to just say that, I think this is such a practical topic, right? Because so many cultures use chicken in their cooking. And it feels like learning how to handle it, how to bone it, how to cut it, how to carve it. It's all part of a universal rite of passage that a lot of cooks have to go through when they're learning. I know that's true for me, and I'm still learning. So I'm really looking forward to hearing David's technique, learning about his new technique. I wanted to also take a moment to thank our sponsors. Goose Yoshida at Dare, Dr. Leland Lee, and the Sierra Sacramento Valley Medical Society Association. These sponsors help us to provide all of our programming free of charge by supporting things like our staff time, the space that we utilize, and all the equipment that it takes to put on a show like we're doing today. As Ted has mentioned, over the past year, I think we've put on more than 450 of these special events, concerts, presentations, and classes, all free of charge to our viewers, so that anyone can tune in wherever they are to feel connected, maybe learn something new, maybe feel a little healthier. If you would like to help us to continue to provide these kinds of programs free of David, come on up. And thank you for being here today. David, you're not just one of Sacramento's or ACC's most popular chefs. You also know a lot about food culture and food history, and you spent a lot of your career dealing with Chinese American cuisine. So I was wondering if you could tell us today a little bit about how you feel the Chinese have influenced food culture here in California.
Well, first of all, the Chinese immigrants would not come to America unless they were able to bring the food with them. So if you look at the shipping involved, they brought their cured lapjiang, their dried oysters. There was no rice here, so they even brought the rice here. But anyway, they would not come here because the history of Chinese cooking actually goes back about 5,000 years ago, written probably around 3,000 years ago. So what's fascinating is when the immigrants came, they also you know about the Transcontinental Railroad, and they were in the fishing business. They provided labor, but at the same time they built the Sacramento Delta. So Sacramento, the second city, San Francisco was the first one because it's where the merchants were there, but it actually was Sacramento that politically protected the Japanese and the Chinese immigrants. And then later on, when the Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882, then a lot of the farming went to the Japanese. And so it's fascinating because the Japanese became the suppliers of the restaurant industry. And that also explains why the fortune cookie is actually invented by the Japanese. So, yes, so lots of fun things, but there's also only one chef ever in American history that has not been invented. His name is by Sing. It's called Sing Peak in Yosemite. So you have a chance to go see the contributions of the Chinese. Also, the hotels, the banana cream pie, the apple pie, all that recipe goes way back when Hong Kong was colonized by the British Empire, so they would not eat Chinese food. So at the same time, the Chinese learned all the sauces and so forth. But that's why early American history, it was the Chinese that were the head chefs of the Wong Hotel, for example, set in the hotel, pretty much everywhere. Even our nut tree going to San Francisco, the baker was Cantonese. So yeah, anyway, it goes on and on, but sadly we don't know about it. And sadly at the same time, and fortunately because of ACC, doing this, we're keeping the culture alive. In other words, techniques that I'm going to show you today, to me it's the most basic, like you're saying, and the French call this mise en place, because that means, well anyway, the Chinese call this jop ma, or ride a horse, that's your foundation. You should not be starting over every time, but if you know the techniques, it opens so many doors for you, okay?
So that's exciting. So that's what you're going to be showing us today, right? Is learning some of these basic techniques, and along the way, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how some of these things really do relate to, a lot of the history that permeates all of our food culture here in California and throughout the country that maybe we don't even really realize. So I'm excited. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So, to be a chef, I would say one of the things you should learn is the knife. Okay. So quickly telling you, I think all you really need is 3 knives. You need a paring knife. This is not expensive, maybe about $3 nice expensive one, which is metal steel with carbon in it. That allows the metal to be very hard. At the same time, you can actually keep the edge by pulling on sharpener, like a diamond sharpener, has little pieces of diamond in there, and that keeps the edge going, okay? But generally speaking, once you lose the edge, best to just bring it to Rayleigh's or one of your local shops, because they will actually sharpen for you by the inch. I think Macy's does it too. You really can't do it too well at home. You definitely do not want to do with this knife. I guess it's about $60. And you just can't do it, okay? But it is steel, you can try, okay? But you end up ruining it. These are glued to Echo, which is stainless steel, very sharp, it holds its edge, very inexpensive, that's why Echo is everywhere. Doesn't have status, but definitely just throw it away, start all over, okay? If you try to sharpen it, eventually it get dull. Now, as far as the cleaver, the reason why I like the cleaver is because it's very safe. At any time, I can put it on my knuckles, right? And then I know where it is. Same time, it gives me leverage. Okay, so this is how you sharpen a cleaver. A cleaver will rust if you don't use it, just like a wok. So that just means use it. If you keep on using the cleaver, it will not rust. Okay, so let's get a little bit more into it. The reason why this is all broken up, notice is boxing, because I use like once every 2 years.
Did you hear what Janice said?
Okay.
Janice says
So
you can't
and
hear.
this is
You can
stone.
hear the people clapping,
So there's two
but you can't
sides.
hear David.
You can sharpen a cleaver. It's not expensive at all. You get a nice cleaver like this is going to run you about $60 or more. Very nice. Okay. But this one here actually is the one you use. And the reason why is because if I'm not a strong person, I will cut up and down like this. Okay, I will cut more. But if I'm a strong person, I will just cut down straight up. So there's no right and wrong. But the way you use the cleaver eventually shape your cleaver. As the cleaver shapes, it's going to protect you more. So here's a little bit of oil, okay, and I simply take the stone and I just go like this. Okay, there's no right or wrong, you can't mess it up. Then the other side, same thing. Okay, you see it? So that gives you the edge, you just feel it, okay? And then, wipe it clean with a towel or paper, and it's ready to go. Okay. Water. Okay. Okay, so eventually, if this curves, that means you're a person that cuts like this. If the blade stays flat, that means you're a strong person. But in the end, the bottom line of it is the cleaver does not jump around and it shapes to the way you cut, so it's very safe. So I recommend a cleaver that actually doesn't rust too much. In fact, the more rust, the better. In old days, if I had clean clams, I would put clams in the bucket. Snails, for example, off the Manteca in the Delta. I would throw the cleaver in there, let it rust. That would make the clams spit out all the sand, all that stuff. So everything has a logical reason, but generally speaking, if it rusts, the metal is soft, you simply use it more, and you sharpen it, and the cleaver becomes personal. Okay, so anyone have any questions? Everybody's happy with the information? Okay, so let's talk about chicken. Why chicken? Why is this important? And I'll tell you why, because in learning a chicken, you're learning about how to cut a chicken, but at the same time, you're also learning how to cut a turkey, you're learning how to cut a rabbit, you're learning how to cut a pig, and even a cow. They're all the same, but they're all vertebrates, okay? So the first thing you do is remove the raptor, okay? And then you leave the end there, drops out. The neck maybe. Okay. So this time they did not include it. So the cow, we're going to wash this. Okay. This is actually a clean one, but what I mean is after you use it, of course, you wash it. Okay. So to cut the chicken, by learning this, you also know how to debone a turkey, debone a rabbit, and so forth. What you want to do is just take a paring knife and cut through the skin. Okay? Then you feel on the back. You feel it. You feel a tendon. Just cut it, don't drop. Okay? And you take your finger. You'll feel. You find there's a hook there. A hook. Okay? And then you simply take the wing and you pull straight down. Okay. This whole thing. Okay. There's your breast. There's your thigh. Got the oyster there, and a piece of meat there. You push back, then you take your catch a little oyster, and the connection. Always point the knife away from you. Grab your hook. You do not cut the tendon. You cut it. That should be easy. There you go. See, that's one half, right? Okay. Now the other side, same thing. So I always tell people you have to do this 3 times. The first time, do just to do it. The second time, to develop the muscles. The third time, you can be a show-off. Okay. So to prevent the skin from coming off, if you cut this, it would not, the thigh part, the skin won't come off. Okay. Now, you push this back, push it back, you cut the tendon, and you simply pull. Okay. So you see the fillet, you see the wing. Here, you have the tenders or sirloin of chicken. Use your finger, and you simply pull this off. Like that. Okay. Other side, use your finger. So the Chinese kitchen, because lots of things are sliced, we like to do this debone because we're not making mistakes. Okay? But as you can see, this part you can just cut this and pan fry. That's a piece of breast meat. Okay. Now, this is your carcass, which we boil, make soup stock. Okay. Now we're going to continue. Keep lever. Cut the wing off. Cut the other wing. Okay. So this is the wing. Okay. Here we go. So this is the wing. What we do is we take, first we cut my hand. So this is my equivalent to my left arm. I grab it, and I pop the bone out. Then I take slippery, so I'm going to use a towel. I pull up, and it hurts. Then I put back, and 2 bones pop out. Then I grab the small bone, and I simply turn, and it comes right off. Okay, so we cut the hand off. the elbow, and we have what's called lollipop chicken. Okay? So when you start knowing the anatomy, it also helps you eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's tasty, because then you're not fighting the way the muscles move. So here we go again. Use a towel, it helps, okay? And if you wash the chicken, of course, it'll be less slippery. So I first straighten it up. First straighten up the right arm. Then I take and grab it, and I push, and it pops out. The other side, we pull the head up, then we push down, and the two bones pop up. Then I simply twist. If you twist the wrong way, it won't come off. So it pops off, and we cut the hand off. We have hot chicken. Okay. Now, as far as the wing tips, the hand, put it inside. If we're doing the breast, let's finish this off so not waste. So here we put the skin inside. We've got another breast here. Stuff on the side. This is, you freeze this, and you make your chicken stock for stir frying soups. There's nothing else like this to make your own. And the reason why is because it's real. The problem with all the canned chicken broth is full of enhancers, and look closely, it's got so much bad stuff for you. So in today's time, I really recommend that you simply take these bones and boil it. Okay. Also, if you buy a quart, it's going to be like $3 for a can of broth. Okay. So here. So today, I'm basically trying to teach you, what we're after today is techniques and methods, okay? And I assure you that there's lots of wisdom out there. All of you have some idea about cutting, about this topic. And as you do it more and more, then you obviously have experience. You don't cut your finger anymore. You have to do things 3 times. And again, is this having a cleaver, your chance of cutting yourself are less. Okay? That's why it's so important that you okay. So there. So now we have chicken, which we can use for stir frying. Now, in a restaurant, what happens is we all line up in front of this table, and then everybody, we have a case of chicken. Everybody surrounds it, and everybody's pulling. These things are flying around, and they just fly into containers. And the wings go one place. The meat goes here, dark meat goes here, and it's just that's your most basic. That's how you begin to get your career or your basics, experience. And you have to really do this and get the experience. As far as this part's concerned, a couple things. If you want to just cut this right in the middle, actually you can find the spot. Okay, that's one way. I just want to show you can chop it, or you can just find the joint. And then this here, basically your fried chicken, okay? There's a little too much skin, just cut some of it off. Okay, that could be fried chicken. This could be for stir fry. Just give you an idea what you can do with it. All right. So now let's do a let's make a dish out of this, okay? So I have here some oil, not quite hot yet, just beginning to. Okay, make sure it's hot, high as possible. Okay. All right. That's the oil for frying. Um, okay. Let's do. So we have a little bit of time here. So here we have. Let's just say a pound of chicken, okay? So I'm going to give you the basics. For every pound of chicken, you want 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of salt, and you want, let's say, a quarter teaspoon of sugar. And why sugar? It's because sugar makes the chicken taste young, makes your stomach happy, so you'll enjoy it more. But you need the salt, the correct amount of salt. That's a teaspoon per pound or 1 tablespoon per chicken. That's all you really need to know. Everything else is optional. So always remember, 1 duck, 1 whole chicken, just put 1 tablespoon of salt. That makes your tongue able to taste everything. Okay, so here I've got a pound, so I would say 1 teaspoon. Now, in parts of China, we don't have salt. So I want to disclose to you a little bit the story about soy sauce. In different parts of China, there are no salt. So what they use is this thin soy. So you don't really use this except when you want to taste things. In other words, instead of salt, you simply marinate with a little bit, let's say a tablespoon of or less of thin soy. Now it makes it salty. Okay? So use salt if you don't have thin soy, or use thin soy, you don't need to have salt. Okay, so careful, okay? And then as far as a pinch of sugar, it's optional. So marinating, we have a choice. Use fresh peppercorn or white pepper. If you use white pepper, you can't see it. So this is fresh black peppercorn. Now it is lively. So whenever we eat chili peppers, pungent things like black peppercorn, jalapenos, it makes our skin move. So it's very sensual. That's why now it's very enjoyable. It's making us heat up. It's giving us feelings, okay? We have sugar, it makes our stomach happy, so very happy. The salt makes it, and the thin soy makes it so you can taste things, okay? And then if we put in a little bit of cornstarch in the marinade, then what that does, it locks in the juices. So this is very tender, but the moment you try to cook it, what happens? Juices run out. By adding just a little bit of cornstarch, what's happening is now the juices will not run out. Okay? And if you put in some oil, then what that would do is you don't have to add as much oil when you're stir frying. Okay? All right. Thank you. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you. You see what's happening is if you put oil, the more oil you put in there, the more tender. Okay? It's simple as that. That's why when you order or when you buy filet mignon, for example, you're paying for the little fat that's inside the meat. That's the reason why it's very important that you, not super important, but it makes it so that it definitely is more tender and juicier when you start cooking it. As soon as you hit As soon as heat goes onto it, then immediately juices start coming out, immediately starts to get tough. So the game is how can you cook it and not have it dry. Okay, that's marinated, incredibly marinated, great, very basic techniques that you should know, okay? And the rest, like fresh herbs, everything's optional. If you put a little bit of alcohol in there, like wine, what's going to happen is the alcohol would come out first and it'll pull out the garlic with the fresh tarragon or any kind of herb you would like to add here. So I look around, I see an Italian here, I'm going to put a little bit of, let's say, thyme in there to draw them in to make them happy. If they're an Asian person, I may decide to put some star anise or ginger, and then that would draw them in to enjoy my food. So people are people, and the foundation is really for everyone, okay? You can do the same thing for a whole piece of steak. And that basically the history of why the Chinese accelerated very early in the gold rush, because they had a long history of knowing how to marinate. And back in the 1800s, cows were like, boy, they're tough. They're like shoe leathers. So what they did was they did this. And then all of a sudden, they all went to the Chinese cooks because they were able to take a piece of beef and make it very tender and flavorful. So everything I've said here is very, very old, okay? It's carried on to people like myself, a lot of the seniors, and then we transfer to you, okay? All right, so let's do the chicken wings, okay? And so this is the second time. This way, by telling you this, my hopes are that you will remember it easier. So if I do it the second time, you'll see, okay? Like I said, the only thing you need is salt, okay? Salt or soy sauce. And the reason why you don't use Kikkoman is because that's the premium soy sauce. And if you deep fry it or you boil Kikkoman sauce, the premium, it will burn. You don't take a nice glass of wine that's fermented, like a nice soy sauce, and heat it up. Because if you taste it, it will taste like it's been smoked, okay? So let me clarify this whole thing. If I take soybean and mash it up, put something to ferment it, or just leave it outside, it's going to pretty soon start to ferment like a wine. 3 layers develop. The bottom part is all the junky black soy, they call it, the heavy stuff, the sediments. Middle is like a nice glass of wine. The top part is very salty. We use it for salting things, okay? But the middle part is for table. So if you want the soy sauce flavor, then you simply put it onto your dim sum to whatever your steak, whatever you like on the table. But you don't boil that. Again, because of yin yang, the more you cook, the more you know everything I say is a lie. In other words, it's hard for people to understand that, but knowing this, I would take Kikkoman soy sauce and I would marinate the fish with it. Regular fish, add a little sugar to it, I marinate this, and I deep fry it, and I take it out. It's called Mandarin smoked fish. See, by knowing this, by putting heat to it in the fryer, we have this famous dish called smoked fish, and there is no smoking, okay? And it's really delicious. Yeah. Okay, so we can use the knowledge to always 2 ways. So again, is back to the chicken. We now have the salt, optional. We'll make it taste younger, add a little sugar. That makes it addictive. We can add some pepper or ginger. That makes, even if I put red chili pepper, you'll make your skin move even more. So it's more sensual. Okay? And again, it's finally to make fried chicken. Anyway, so here we go. Okay? So to make fried chicken, okay, you can do the exact same thing with this. Okay? And there's plenty of recipes. And if you go on to the ACC website, we'll make sure you have some really great recipes. But the fried chicken wing is actually great. Okay? Really is good. And hopefully, if that heats up, then what's going to happen is you'll be able to taste it. Okay? Now, since we have more people here, what I did was I tried not to give you, I tried to show you everything, not hide anything. So I didn't know how many people would be here. I can see a lot, so I'm going to add some more, okay? But it's better if you simply make it ahead. I mean, not make it ahead, but marinate ahead according to the recipe which I give you, which is really easy. Go on the website, and then try it, okay? And then here, what we're going to do is we're going to take an egg. Why are we adding an egg? It's because the egg will cook very quickly, and that would help lock in the juices. Once it hits the fryer, what happens is, if the temperature drops below 350, what's happening is then it starts to wash it off. The flour, everything starts to come off. So by adding an egg in here, it's going to cook quickly, and it will act as a glue. Okay? So at this point, you simply, that's I don't know how hot that is yet. One way of doing it is you take a piece of wood, you stick it in there, it bubbles, that means it's ready. The other way is you look at this, and you look and see if it's swirling or not. And of course, the last way is simply you take a chicken and put it in there. Okay. So this is a setup kitchen, live. So to be honest with you, this we had technical difficulties, so we quickly put this together fast as we can. And you want a fryer that has good amount of heat, recovery. Okay. So if you're using electric, it needs to be about 1600 watts for recovery. If you have gas, you just turn it up, you can actually heat up pretty quickly. Okay, so here, you simply take flour and you add in there. Okay, now you can see that it's going to keep absorbing the flour, and pretty soon it'll start separating. Okay. There we go. Okay. This is exactly how you do it for fried chicken. Okay. So this is the way we have been doing it for a long time. This recipe is 100 years old, seriously, and it's been around forever. Now, everything I teach you, there's another way of doing this. So, in other words, watch this, okay? So flour makes it incredibly tasty, and it's nice, right? But cornstarch, what is this? This, if you add this to it, then it is crispier. Okay, so it's optional. Nothing you need to do, but if you want it crispier, add a little cornstarch to it. You can actually use 100% cornstarch, and it'll be real crunchy. So I would like to say just go 30% just so you learn. Everything you do is a learning thing. And because you have to look at the person, and you have to understand why, what's this all about. So here's the interesting point.
Fried chicken, why do we like fried chicken? Yes, so if you take your thumb and just bite on it, you'll see, you'll start salivating. Okay, with the saliva, then you can taste. That's why we like crunchy things like corn dogs and everything else, because the moment you bite into it, the crispiness, the egg roll, makes you salivate. And with the juices, it helps taste. Okay, so everything you do has a logical reason. Now you know that too. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so you take the. If you don't have enough, just add more. Okay, that's it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we now go and put it into the oil, and you look and see if it's bubbling or not, okay? So, anyway, normally we have a lot more heat, but this hopefully will do. I laugh because I should. It's fun, unpredictable, and you never know what's going to happen, okay? So if I put too much in there, the temperature is going to drop. Remember I said that? So then what happens is you have less batter on it, less crunchiness. But what you want to do is keep going until it's all crispy. So at this point, I'm trying to count how many people so that you all have a taste, okay? And the more I put in there, the more longer it's going to take. So it's difficult to tell you exactly how long. You see? So again, is everything you learn in life, even tennis, takes 3 times. You try it the first time, do the second time to learn how to do the backhand, and third time you might hit the ball correctly and start bragging. See, here's a nice piece because somebody's getting a big piece, okay? So there is never right and wrong. You can add red chili pepper. You can add a lot of things. Okay, so the moment you do that, then that's your dish. In other words, that's your famous dish. But as a chef, if you look historically, the chef is not ever allowed to name a dish after himself. I would never call this David SooHoo's chicken, because to be a chef means we have to be humble. We're servants. That's a traditional Asian way. So you won't hear me talk too much about how great I am, because just because I put a little jalapeno does not give me the right. Okay? Here, so I'm going to hope that gets crispy and deep fried correctly, okay? I mean, crunchy. And I think it looks like it's working. And the reason why I say that is because the burners should be 1600 watts. That's the highest you can get it without your 15 amp breaker at your house trips. So you don't like to start cooking with this in your home and find out that it tripped. You know, you got to run outside and turn the breaker back on. So this particular burner probably has about 800 watts. So it's going to take twice as long than normal. Okay? And that's why you have to do it 3 times. Okay? Okay, so let's do this. Let's recap by you know how to marinate. You know what flours by just throwing together, it doesn't matter, because when I finish marinating, it's going to be great for stir frying. And just keep everything clean. Okay. So this really is good fried chicken when I marinate it correctly to follow the recipe. Okay, so here we have a chicken. I'm going to recap this one more time, okay? All right, so best thing to do, of course, is have a clean hand. And when I cook, what I really do is I close my eyes. And the reason why I do that, I actually do that, because my ears is listening to the chicken. I can hear, I can smell, see if it's ugly or not. I know what it tastes like, whether it's healthy or not, and it has to be sensual with something like black peppercorn. So you'll see that in my the basic thing I want to tell you is what's called the 9 doors. So I'm trying to make the 9 doors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 doors of my body happy. So I look at you and I see if you dress nicely, that means you have very developed eyes. If you're a scholar, it means you have big ears. Okay? And it gives me a hint as how to cook for you. If you're a little overweight, like me, and have retention, a little too much salt, then cut back on the salt. So your purpose is to make someone happy through food. Okay? And I can go further by just adding spices that will make me more aggressive to making you happy. In other words, if you're Italian, I will add, let's say, Italian garlic, just to make them happy. So, all right. So here, the chicken is coming along. It's not brown yet, but you can see it's staying on. It's not falling off, which is a good sign, okay? So it just means I got double the time. And if you do it 2 times, trust me, this fried chicken recipe you'll love. It is one of the most successful recipes ever in the history of Chinese restaurants. And today we put, you'll see Korean restaurants take the exact same recipe, add ginger and a ton of chili pepper to it, right? And you'll deep fry this in a Korean fried chicken, and then they'll put on the walnut shrimp dish, which is nothing more than sweet condensed milk, a little bit of mayonnaise, and a little wine. You stir it up. And that's the white sauce that you'll get in really hot, incredibly delicious. So if you like walnut shrimp, you'll love this walnut Korean chicken. So change it the way your family likes, okay? Don't add this heat if you got kids around, okay? And it goes on and on. So here, again, I want to do a real quick recap. Okay, so to cut this, because again, you need to do a couple times. If you have a cleaver, it's great because it's safe. It gives you the edge so that you can cut between it. Yes, this is a big chicken. Okay, big chicken. There, you see it? So then you can use your cleaver and pull. So when you're working with other chefs, they're not going to use the finger. They're just going to go like this, put the cleaver there, and use it as a leverage to pull. Okay, you see that? See that? So I don't want to do too fast, okay? So put the cleaver there, and you simply pull the leverage. And that's how it is, okay? So, and you take this back, you take the cleaver, it's a little oyster, and then you pull. Okay, then the other side, same thing. So, do this within, I would say within a day or so, where you start forgetting. But if you do this, you'll know this forever. Okay, you will forever know this. Okay, and then what I didn't tell you was, actually you now know Kung Fu. So real Kung Fu masters do know this, and they apply this. Okay, so it's all part of the same thing. It really is. Okay, so that's why it hurts when you're fighting a Kung Fu master. They know your body, and they pull the ways that control you. Okay, so here again, we got the two tenders or sirloins, and then that comes right off. If you want the sirloin to stay on the breast, I'll tell you how to do it, okay? So here you have your chicken, right? Instead of just pulling, what you do is you cut the slit in the back. But here, before you pull, you take your cleaver and just cut along the breast. You just cut along the breast through the skin and then pull. This tender will become part of this breast. It'll come right off with it. And then you have one big breast. This will become one big breast. This will become part of this simply by cutting along this way. But, you know, it's just how much work you want to do. And now you know how to do it, okay? So here we take, again, the wing. You cut as much meat as you want off. Leave as much as you like, okay? And then this, take the other side. Same thing. So I like to leave a good piece of meat that would have something to really eat in my lollipop, okay? And then you take the skin, you put it into the cavity, and you freeze it. So here, okay, again, you just you become part of the chicken. And if I push this way, it's gonna hurt. Okay? So I'm gonna straighten it up, and I'm going to straighten it up, and I'm gonna go pop it, and it hurts like heck. Okay? The hand, if I lift up, like the hand, and I pull back, right, it's gonna hurt like heck. So here it is, see? Hurts like heck. Okay? And if I turn one way, it doesn't go, then I try the other way, doesn't go, so you go use all you gotta do is just twist and it'll come right off. Okay. Oops. No wonder why it's got a little break. Anyway, all you gotta do is it'll come right off. This is a big chicken. There you go, okay? So you take the small one off. Then you take a knife and you cut it right there at the elbow. You take the hand off. There you go, okay, that's a lollipop. Now you look at this, you can figure it out. So there we go. So we simply, let's go with the hand first. So I take the hand, straighten it up the wrong way, and then these bones pop up, and then you twist. There, see? And then the other one, now the elbows, same thing. Oops, if you blow it, I'm glad I blew it, okay? If you snap it wrong, then you simply cut it. There's no, you really can't hurt it. You can't do wrong, because if you did it wrong, all you gotta do is, now you understand it, you simply take a knife and cut it. There you go. See, you just cut it. But you have to do it to understand. Here we go. Okay. This dish really is great for kids. Boy, they love you for it. You eat with ketchup. But truthfully, wings is in now, and anything wing is nice. But this dish appears to be high labor, but truthfully, it's just not, most people don't know how to do it, that's all. But now you do. Okay, so here we go, okay? So, here you go, you fried chicken. Okay, so now this chicken is ready, I'm pretty sure, okay? And you simply take it. Okay. And I would like it crispier, of course, but due to our situation, I'm just going to go for it, okay? And what I do like to do is, well, let me tell you another thing. If it's not overly cooked, in the restaurant, we actually take this and we fry it twice. So when the guests come, I can now turn the heat way up and be ready for the guests. It'll be a lot faster. Okay, so that's another option you have. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take one and just cut it a little bit to make sure. Okay, take a knife that's not touched. I'm pretty sure it's cooked. I'm about 90% sure it's cooked. But the reason why I just want to cut in it just to confirm, okay? That should be pretty delicious, I think. Okay, so here's some sweet chili sauce. You come in a bottle, and you simply grab it and stick it in there. We'll pour it over the whole chicken, okay? And as I'm talking to you, I'm salivating because can't help myself. So I want to taste. And I can see it's cooked. And it is delicious. But don't judge me because I would have liked it more, the heat. Then it would have been much crispier, okay? So, boy, I should just keep eating. So what I like to do is, we'll just pour it over, okay? Since we're not interested in crispy, okay? And this way we can let you taste, okay? So here, this dish, and if you want to not worry about crispiness, just put some sesame seed. Now make it a little crispy, okay? Then everybody's happy. Another way to cheat is to add panko. You know, a little panko, cornstarch and panko, or flour and panko. Then the little crumbs will make it nice. In Taiwan, they love sweet potato. So instead of flour, they use sweet potato. And sweet potato flour is the secret of Taiwanese fried chicken. Because in Taiwan, they just love their sweet potato. Everything's sweet potato. Okay? So you can see everything I've taught you can be adjusted. Okay? Okay, I think that I want to open this to questions. What kind of questions people have? Wasn't clear, and also we'll get that out for all of you to taste. Okay? Sure.
So when you talk about broth, what do you put in the broth? What do you put in inside water?
Oh, okay, sure. The question is, you make a broth, what do you put in? And the answer is nothing other than chicken. Because chicken and just enough water to fill over. I mean, that's the correct amount of water. So don't follow recipe, just put in your pot, whatever the pot is, when you're 1 inch over, that is the correct amount of water. You boil it, if you boil it and then real hot broth, put it in there, you boil it, you pull it out, and then take that water and do it the second time. Put this back in a different broth, different pot, the same pot, let's say. Fill it with water again, and then boil for an hour. Then add the second one, and that's a very good broth. Okay, so the question really is, how strong do you want it? If you only boil it one time only, then that's a very strong broth, which is great for especially wonton soup. In the old days, we did not add any MSG. We did not need to. So MSG is nothing more than a doubler. So what it does is it doubles the flavor of whatever the dish is. Okay? It's actually MSG. MSG is, you don't need it. Okay? Because you have good ingredients, you don't need it. And if you have chili peppers, you don't add MSG because it doubles the insanity of the heat. Okay, that's why MSG got a bad name. So what happened is they renamed it umami. But actually, I recommend you don't add so much umami into your body. Okay, just eat what's natural. You make your broth, and you'll love it. When you get older, one of the things we do is we give you a tonic soup. We take that same thing, broth I was telling you about, just add that much water, and then we go to your local shop, buy for about $4, you have this tonic soup mix. You simply put it in there, and you boil it. You drink that really brings back your vitality and boosts all your body organs. And it's known to really help, not cure you, but what it does, it gives you all the natural vitamins. That's why you have this mix of about 8 or 10 different or 12 different herbs. And that's your tonic soup with chicken. Okay? Yeah, all you gotta do is add some ginger and try it. Bring it. I usually bring it to seniors. I really do. When I find that they're in a nursing home, whatever, the happiness is they get this soup and they drink it and they feel good. It warms them up. Same time, it shows love. Okay, it shows love. Local Asian market, you'll see it's the tonic soup mix. So okay, sure.
What kind of chicken do you use?
Okay.
Repeat the question.
Yeah, what kind of chicken do I use? Okay, depends who I'm cooking for. See, what happens is almost all the chicken you get nowadays, like this, even the organic ones, if you look closely, they brined it already. Brining simply means they injected or they soaked it in water and produced. And why do they do that? It's because nowadays people do not know how to make bread. They do not understand meats. They just want to buy something and hope that it's tender. So what the industry has done is they've added water to this so that you can't mess it up. So you can do a fried chicken, anything, including beef. Nowadays it's tender because they added things to it to make sure it's tender. So look closely at the label. You'll see turkey that you don't even want it, but if you're getting it at 99 cents or 69 cents, it has been brined for you. Number one is because Thanksgiving, you can't blow it. Okay? And the second reason why is because by adding water, we're able to sell water. And that makes the industries happy. So everybody's happy, okay? But what I recommend is when they say natural, it means there's no phosphate. Phosphate makes it so that even the gristly part becomes tender. So the question is, what chicken do I buy? Well, I look at you and I say, if you really want good chicken, then you want, of course, you look at the label and make sure that it does not have any phosphates added to it. I don't mind water, I don't mind salt, but I definitely do not want phosphate, okay? Because phosphate is what eats up all the tendons, okay? And then that way, when you bite into it, nothing is hard. To the questions? But I tell you right now, to this day, I still love the turkey with phosphate. So you have to really ask the question: how much do you want to spend? Who are you cooking it for, right? If you have a very snobby person, then you need to make them happy. They don't want to hear the word that it's got water in it, okay? But at the same time, they may not understand that water, injecting it, makes it really, really tender. Okay? Yes?
Are brown chickens tastier than other chickens?
Our brown chicken. Okay, so now you get into a trend. See, when I say brown chicken, black chicken, or wild chicken, or duck, whatever, what's happening is your ears need to eat. It's not just your taste, but your ears need stories. You go bonkers. The reason why we eat is because our ears eat. not just your mouth, not just your eyes. Some of you are artists, got big eyes, so you need to see different things. You like the black chicken, another person will go wild or brown chicken, whatever. I can't keep up because there are too many stories. Okay, what I do is when I make a dish and I take this chicken and I boil it, I simmer it in beef broth. So when it comes out, you bite into it and you go, hey, this is not chicken. What is it? And I tell you, it is dragon meat. There's no such thing. If I add pork to a broth, it would be totally different again. You see, so we create illusions for our ears. So we do have dragon meat, we do have mythical meats by knowing the techniques. Okay? More questions about this? Okay, yes. Sure.
An easy way to debone the thigh?
The thigh part is like this. So you take this and you follow it. So you use this like this, okay? You follow it. It's like you follow the curve. Okay? See, you follow it. And that's how you do it. Then you, right in the middle there, comes like this, and then you cut around until it releases. Okay? Until it releases the bone. Then you do the same thing on the other side. And the question is there an easy way? And the answer is the more you do it, the easier it is. And this is the part that nobody wants to do because we know it's one of the harder ones, okay? But that's pretty good, okay? This is pretty good the way it is. And here's and hopefully you don't cut yourself, okay? There you go. Okay, so now you can deep fry this and lemon chicken or whatever, okay? There we go. Okay.
That's amazing. I feel like I'm going to need to practice this a few times before I can get the hang of it. It was so great having you here today, David. I want to thank you so much for being here. And I hope you'll come back again and share more stories with us and teach us some other techniques and more recipes. But yeah, thank you so much.
Well, again, I want to thank ACC. Okay, it's just amazing the work you're doing to teach the community. And I'm very happy to support, and I'll be back.
That's great, thank you. And we'll have a recording of this, and I think again all the recipes will be online as well, so you can visit our website to get those great recipes. I know I'm going to give it a try when I go home later on. All right, thanks everybody for joining us today, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you. Thank you.